Chapter 25, Still Moving. Little changed for my family and me during the summer after graduation. I worked for Santa Maria Window Cleaners, helping Mike Neville during the day and doing my regular job in the evenings and on the weekends. Trampita worked for Mike Neville and often helped me in the evenings. Torito picked strawberries for Ito, and Mama ironed for migrant families and took care of their babies. She also looked after Aurora, Ruben, and Papa. What did change was the size of my brother's family. Roberto and Darlene had a beautiful baby girl who brought joy and new life to our whole family. My parents doted on her. Papa bragged about how much little Jackie resembled the Jimenezes. Mama naturally agreed with Papa, but she insisted that Jackie also looked like my brother's wife. Trampita, Torito, and I argued about who Jackie's favorite uncle was. We never agreed, even after I convinced Rora and Ruben to take my side. All summer, I marked off the days on a calendar that hung on our kitchen wall. The calendar had a picture of a colorful Aztec warrior standing guard over an Aztec princess whose eyes were closed. Both were dressed in plumed and colorful costumes. One morning, I asked Papa and Mama if they knew the story behind the picture. Vaguely, Papa said, I think the warrior thought the princess was asleep, but she was dead. No, she wasn't dead, Mama said. She was asleep, and the warrior protected her while she dreamed. I liked Mama's answer better, and I wondered what the princess dreamed about. For each day I crossed out, my excitement and anxiety grew stronger. The day I had been waiting for finally arrived. It was Sunday of the first week of September. I woke up at dawn, feeling excited about my trip to Santa Clara. This was the first time in my life I did not feel sad about moving. I quietly got up and went in the shed to bathe in the aluminum tub. Soon I would be taking hot showers in college, just like I did in my PE classes in high school. By the time I had finished getting dressed, Mama was already preparing breakfast and lunch for the trip. I went back to my room and began sorting and folding my clothes, trying not to disturb Torito and Ruben, who were still asleep. They slept together in the twin bed next to mine, which I shared with Roberto when he lived with us. Mama walked in with Rora and woke up my brothers. Time to get up, Flojos, she said, pulling the blankets off them. Look, Rora is already up. My sister stood next to Mama looking smug. The boys moaned and rubbed their eyes and pulled up the covers. Come on, Mios. You've got to get going if you want to come with us to take Panchito to Santa Clara. Torito and Ruben jumped out of bed. Ruben looks like a Chihuahua dog in underwear, Torito said, laughing and pointing at my youngest brother. Ruben made a face and stuck his tongue out at Torito. Andale, malcriado, Mama said, chuckling and pinching Torito's behind. He leapt like a rabbit and ran into the kitchen. Ruben and Rora ran behind them. Mama picked up one of my shirts and began folding it. She was quiet and pensive until she heard Papa. Vieja, vieja, he shouted from his room. Yes, viejo, I'm coming, Mama hollered, placing my shirt in the box. She smoothed it with her right hand and sighed. Papa needs help getting dressed, she said. I'll be right back. Rora followed her like a shadow. A few minutes later, Mama returned carrying a bundle of new clothes. Her eyes sparkled and she was smiling from ear to ear. What's this? I exclaimed. I bought you some new clothes, she said excitedly. I wanted to surprise you, mijo. Thank you, I said, my eyes watered. Mama tried to hold back her tears, and she handed me the clothes. 2 pairs of pants, one navy blue, one black, a couple of short-sleeve shirts, 3 pairs of white underwear, and a pair of low black pointed boots. You like them, Mama said, asked hopefully. Of course, I said. But how did you pay for them? She said, anticipating my question. Ay, Panchito, como eres preguntan. You've always been nosy. Always asking questions, even when you were a little boy, she said, chuckling. You're worse than your father. She paused, thought about it for a moment, and added, okay, I'll tell you. I've been saving a little bit every week from groceries. But don't worry, mijo, they didn't cost much. JCPenney has a good back-to-school sale. Thank you, Mama, I said, giving her a hug. At that point, Trampita came into the room. He had just returned from cleaning the Western Union and Pat's Pets. Thanks, Trampita, I said. I wouldn't be able to go to college if you didn't take over my job. Don't feel bad, he said, trying to cheer me up. I get to keep your car. Now, if you gave me those nice boots, we'd be even, he added. What's wrong with my boots, I said. With those sharp toes, you could kill cockroaches in corners, he said, snickering. I picked up one of the boots and threatened to throw it at him. He flew out of the room laughing. Mama went back to the kitchen to check on my brothers and sister. I continued folding my clothes and put them in the box. After I finished packing, I wrote a note to Trampita to thank and surprise him. I placed it under his pillow along with my copper pyrite rock for good luck. I then carried the box out of the car and loaded it into the trunk. The cool fog caressed my face. I took a deep breath and went back inside the house. Mama grabbed me by the arm and took me aside. Papa is really in a bad mood, she whispered. He hates to see you go. But don't let it get to you. Be patient with him like you've always been. Don't worry, Mama, I understand. Papa sat at the kitchen table, smoking a cigarette and staring out into space. Once again, he looked haggard. His eyes were puffy and red. I greeted him and sat across from him to eat breakfast. He glanced at me and feigned a smile. Mama stood at the kitchen sink washing dishes. She kept shifting her weight from leg to leg, from one leg to the other, trying to ease the pain from the swelling of her varicose veins. Ándale, viejo, como algo, she said tenderly, trying to get Papa to eat something. He finally drank a glass of milk and ate cottage cheese with bananas. He liked to eat dairy products because he said they helped ease his stomach pains. Everyone was ready to leave. We secured the front door with a padlock and stood outside by the door, waiting for Roberto, Darlene, and Jackie to arrive to say goodbye. As soon as I saw them, I felt a lump in my throat. My brother parked his car behind ours. His eyes turned red and watery as we approached and hugged each other. We were silent. Each one of us knew what the other was feeling. You'll see each other for Christmas, Darlene said, rubbing my brother's broad shoulders with her right hand. Where's little Jackie? I asked, finally letting go of my brother and wiping my tears with the back of my hand. She's asleep in the back of the car, Roberto answered. His thick lower lip quivered. Darlene went back to the car and brought little Jackie, wrapped in a pink blanket, in her arms. I gave the baby a light kiss and she opened her eyes and cooed. That's your favorite uncle, Darlene said to Jackie. Say hi. The baby smiled. Vámonos, pues, Papa said impatiently, motioning us to get going. Mama, Trampita, Reuben, and Rora climbed in. Papa slowly slid into the passenger seat, wincing and holding on to Roberto's muscular arms. I got in the driver's seat, secured the door, and drove away, waving goodbye. The car bounced up and down as it hit potholes in the dirt patch leading out of Bonetti Ranch. A pack of stray, skinny dogs followed us, barking at the wheels and waking up the few neighbors who did not work on Sundays. The sun was beginning to come up over the hills as I turned onto East Main Street and headed toward Santa Maria to catch Highway 101. A few minutes later, I glanced at the rearview mirror. Mama had fallen asleep with her right arm around Torito, Reuben, and Rora. I fixed my eyes ahead on the long straight road which cut through hundreds of green fields that stretched for miles on either side. It looked like a black strip on a plush green carpet. At a short distance to my left, I saw several men and women picking strawberries on their knees and children playing near old dusty cars parked at the edge of the field. I glanced at Papa, who winced as he napped on Trampita's shoulder. I felt sad and then angry. I clenched the steering wheel and hit the accelerator. The car jerked and woke up Papa. Slow down, Pancho, he said angrily. What's the matter with you? Nothing, Papa. I'm in control. I took my foot from the accelerator and lightly pressed on the brakes. In control, nothing, he said, holding onto the dashboard. Look, we're almost in Santa Maria, I said, trying to distract him. Sure, we'll be in the cemetery in no time if you keep driving like this, he said. What's wrong, Mama said, waking up. Ask your son, Papa said, annoyed. He thinks he's in a car race. I got distracted, I said apologetically. Let me drive, Trampita said. You must be too tired. I'm fine, I responded. You need to rest. You'll be driving all the way back to Santa Maria. As we entered the city of Santa Maria and went by a large 2-story brick house, Mama said, look at that house to your left. Every time I go by, I wonder what it's like to live in it. Actually, I wonder what it's like living in a house, any house. Maybe someday, si Dios quiere. Papa mumbled something under his breath. Mama quickly added, oh, I don't mind where we live now. It's better than the old garages or tents we used to live in. Maybe Panchito will buy us a house when he finishes college and makes a lot of money. For Dad, mijo? Right, I responded, wanting to please Mama. I had no idea how much money teachers made or how much houses cost. Driving by Main Street Elementary School brought back memories. It was the same school where I failed first grade because I did not know English well enough and where I had received my first prize for my drawing of a butterfly. I felt the same sorrow and happiness I felt then, even though many years had gone by. At the corner of East Main and Broadway, we turned right. Along the way, I saw store windows that I cleaned for Santa Maria window cleaners. As we approached the Santa Maria Bridge, I remembered the pain I felt in my chest every time we crossed this bridge at the end of every summer on our way north to pick grapes and cotton in Fresno. But this time I felt excitement, not pain, the same feeling I had as a child when my family and I took the train north from Guadalajara, crossed La Frontera, and entered California. I speeded up, crossed the bridge and headed north to Santa Clara. I was going to college. After so many years, I was still moving.